you run, 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 when you run, run. I'm so sick of this. Give me a kiss and you split. Tell me you care, but give me time, limited girl. Let her go, dude. They're the devil. They're the devil. Let her go, Belle Biv DeVoe. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I didn't see you guys there. Welcome to episode 37. This is a quick episode. I just want to try this green screen shit out again. If you're young and you follow the page, man, hit the follow button, man. It helps me when I look at all the stats of the page, who follows what, so I know who's following, from what areas. That's what gives me an idea on type of stuff I want to share, man. When I see that I post something of Alice Miller Callallen and it gets 100, 150, 200, whatever likes, comments, yada yada. That makes me want to post about it, man. But I want to post more about everybody. You know, I'm gonna start including the Valley, like I said in the I don't know if I said in the last episode. I'm gonna start including the Valley more. Some of the teams from the area of San Antonio, like that Floresville area, Somerset, San Antonio South Side, Edna, Ganado, stuff like that. I want to start including them also. Them with the Valley. Sometime before the football season starts again, I'm gonna start including them. A lot more than I do now, for sure. But look, man, if I don't include your team enough, let me know, man. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in private message. Part of it is my fault. I need to get organized, and I need to write down all the programs I should be representing from here and the Coastal Bend, the Valley, and the San Antonio area teams I'm talking about. I'll probably do that sometime later today. This is gonna be a quick episode, man. It's 3:27, and the Longhorns are gonna play in about 35 minutes. So I want to get the hell out of here and go watch the Longhorns win the national championship. That's how it goes, man. I feel so sorry for the Aggies, man. You guys had 10 years without the Longhorns in that SEC, and you couldn't do anything with the SEC brand. But that's another argument. So I'm just gonna make something real quick here with a green screen. See if I can get it working again. So this will be about the comment I posted about how taking a Fuji out of the mix in the Coastal Bend and the Valley are pretty much equals. Let me get rid of this. 75% disagreed. 75% of you were wrong. 25% agreed. Those people are right. My first comment on it was, for all you Valley haters, the reality is there's no difference, and if you think there is, then okay, but I want to hear why. Matthew Reed is the first person to comment. He said, since 2006, look at the win-loss between the Coastal Bend and the Valley in the playoffs. Look how much more wins the Coastal Bend has. Look, man, we were arguing and we went back and forth. Yeah, it's all in good fun, man. But the reality, you gotta be realistic, man. It's who's playing who. Is it our best team playing? The Valley. This is what makes it hard to distinguish. Is the Valley's best teams are their 6A teams up until this season. Now they have a lot of teams drop to the 5A D1 level, like Edinburgh Villa, PSJ North, McAllen Memorial. Teams like that drop down to the 5A level that were traditionally some of their best teams in the 6A level. So we can now start getting a better idea of the next couple of years we'll spend who's better. But up until now, you can't just go by head, man, because it's the Valley's best teams have always been their 6A teams. Aside from that nice run Port Isabel had at the 3A level for like 10, 20 years, man. They had a really nice thing going. Ed Couch also too. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what happened there the last 5, 10 years. I shouldn't go back. It's not 10 years. It's not that far back. I don't know what's going on there the last 5 years or so, but. I know the coach they have right now he's a good guy. He's good. Maybe he'll turn things around. The Ed Couch we used to see him, man. Ed Couch has wins over Alice. Ed Couch has wins over Port Lavaca. Ed Couch has wins over Callallen. Los Fresnos has a win over Callallen. There's this idea that the Valley's so far behind us. It's not facts, man. Like if you want to just make it about if we're on Callallen or something like that, sure, I get it. But overall, you get the Valley's 10 best teams and our 10 best teams. There's no difference, man. I don't see a difference other than, like I said, with their state championship wins. But if you just go by talent, the Valley doesn't have a lot of bad 2A teams to be winning state championships. So it is what it is. It's hard to compare them to programs like the Fukio. But you get our 10 best teams, their 10 best teams. There's no difference, man, talent-wise, man, really. I told this dude the head-to-head matters. If the Colts and Ben's beds are scheduled in the Valley's worst, and it matters. Some people use examples like, Dallas and Calallen dominating the district that they're in now with all the Valley teams. Yeah, but that's some of our best programs against some of their worst. Same thing with Flower Bluff and GP. That's some of our best against some of the Valley's worst, other than Mercedes, But if you look at Mercedes' schedule, man, they didn't just get dominated by us. They got dominated. There's 3 of the Valley programs on their non-district schedule completely annihilated them. So it wasn't just us that destroyed Mercedes. It was everybody destroyed Mercedes, even from the Valley. The Valley's best teams, man. Again, someone else's comment, man. Like I said, I don't want this to be too long. Troy Matthews said, don't talk about the Valley. That's why none of these kids are successful in terms of athletics, because of the choices, the coaches, the teams that are playing. Compare against San Antonio, I can talk. He's the guy that I think he played for King during that run when the local Corpus people were put into that district with Sabalo Steel, Smith Valley, and Converse Judson. And I get what he's trying to say. I don't think he realized that those weren't non-district games. Like his coach chose to say, I want to get better, so I'm going to play this team. No, it's just you got stuck in that district that year, man, with Sabalo and Converse and Smith Valley, man. The whole point I'm making about the Valley versus us, look at those years. I think it was 2010, 2011, or 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, when the Corpus schools got stuck in the district with Arlington. Arlington dominated, man. I mean, I remember Arlington beat Carroll 42-0 one year, I think 2010 maybe, and then the next year the Carroll was on this mission so that we're going to get revenge, and you lost 72-0 the second time. You not only did not get revenge, you lost even worse, man. And that was a legit Harlingen team, though. 2011, probably one of the best teams out of San Antonio in a long time, man. That was a legit Valley team, 2011 Harlingen. But it don't work that way, man. I mean, this idea that we're so much better than the Valley, it doesn't exist. James Espinosa, I think he's from Kingsville. I think he represents Kingsville, or that's where he was from. He asked if we're talking overall depth or just top teams. I said, either way, in my opinion, it's equal. He says, 361 has multiple state semifinals appearances the last couple of years of Julio Blood vets. I don't know, man. I get it. I don't mean to poop on anybody, man. But that 5A, that road to round 5, that's got you twice. It was not the traditional. When you opted up all the Corpus teams, like I already said this on one of the other episodes, when Ms. Marshall opted up all the Corpus teams of 5A D1, what you ended up doing was you pushed the San Antonio area's best 5A D1 teams, you pushed them to Region 3, so you're not having to face them. You're not having to face them until round 5. If Smith Valley, Wagner, teams like that would have still been stuck in this region like they're supposed to, you would have lost in round 2 or 3. You wouldn't have gone to round 5. And I'm not saying that to crap on them. If it was my alma mater, the Atlas Coyotes, I'd be saying the same thing, man. Like I've always said since day one, the very first episode, I'm here to keep things real. I'm always going to keep it real. It's just not the same. That 5AD1 saying that they made it to round 5 isn't that simple. For sure, you should be proud of it if you're a player on the team. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I'm going to keep things real here all the time. The 5AD1 road to round 5 has just not been. It's not been what it usually traditionally was. It's not been tough, man. There's been nobody faced on the road to round 5 that was like some kind of monster program from the San Antonio or Austin area like it usually is. But it is what it is, man. So it's just simply using we've gotten around 5 this time. Flower Bluff went to round 5. Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial went to round 5. So it's not that simple, man. If this was if the realignment wasn't what it was, and we still had those powerhouse San Antonio and Austin area teams in 5AD1 Region 4, that wouldn't have happened, man. And like I said, I don't say it to poop on anybody. I want it to happen, man. That's why I say the things I do. That's why I'm honest the way I am. I think kids need to hear the truth. They need to know that they're not as good as the San Antonio's best programs and the Austin area's best programs. That should be the goal right now. You try and shoot to be as good as them before you shoot any further than that, man. It's just you want to be able to beat some of the San Antonio's area's best and Austin area's best, man. And then after that, you can start thinking state championships. But it's at some point you gotta want better, man. The amount of time and effort and that's put into, like I see, at least on social media, man, the love people around here have for baseball. it's crazy, man. I mean, it doesn't translate to the games because they're not back in the stands in baseball games unless it's some kind of marquee matchup at Whataburger Field. So I don't think baseball is king around here over football. The football games get all the fans in the stadiums. Nobody's trying, and online with the real sports and stuff like that. Nobody's trying to really watch baseball games unless it's a big time game. I don't think it should be that way. I'm not taking a shot at baseball. I think people should go to baseball games also, man. Pack the baseball games the way you pack the football games. Don't just wait for marquee matchups at Whataburger Field, man. But it is what it is. What the fuck was I saying that I went off into that? But Justin Rodriguez says the Valley has stepped it up. Back when I played in 08, lots of good coaches were headed to the Valley because of pay, and they have left since and moved into other areas. But they had a good footprint. Yeah, I mean, the Valley is just, like I said earlier, that you take their 10 best programs, our 10 best programs, there's no difference, man. There just isn't, man. Take the Fuyo State Championships out of the mix, and there's just no difference, man. Blake Purcell says, my thoughts are a lot of Valley schools we see in the Corpus area are good quality programs that were 6A schools that dropped the division. But I would say Valley 6A football is good with Harlingen and San Benito making deep playoff runs. For sure, man. I mean, Harlingen and San Benito programs like that, you take our best programs like Halal and at the bigger classifications, and they would beat them a lot of years, man. It's just that we're not on this other level. Harlingen has some really good teams some years, so does San Benito. Jalen Spider says, I disagree, but they do have special athletes come out of there at times. He's talking about the Valley. Richard Garza says, are you talking about Valley or other sports, bro? Other sports too, or the football? I don't know. Marcus Levo says, the Valley's finally catching up. They took Miller to the woodshed last year. I don't know if they took you to the woodshed. They didn't, beat you bad, but, they did, yeah, man. The Valley did beat Miller this last year, and then they barely lost the Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. And that was an extremely underclassmen heavy PSJ and North team. So just watch out this year, man. PSJ North and remind a lot of people why they were as good as they were last year, and there were a lot of underclassmen, man. PSJ North, Edinburgh Villa, McAllen Memorial should be back to what they usually are. They're usually a really good team, make a lot of 3-round playoff runs in the 6A level before they drop down. Miller too, though, I should say, since Marcus Lee was commenting. Miller, I'm interested in seeing what Miller does, man. No more Laniakism, and for some reason, though, I think they're gonna. Miller's not gonna miss a beat. You lose someone like that. That's one of the greatest players to ever come out of South San Antonio, high school football period. The kid Atkinson got All-State in offense and defense. That's crazy. But the Miller's still going to be Miller, man. Miller's still going to be very good this year. Henry Balderrama says he respectfully disagrees with me. CC Vets, Memorial, Calallen, Flower Bluff, Sinton GP have all done well against RGV teams. I lived in the RGV in the 90s. Aside from Port Isabel, it was tough for RGV teams to get past the Coastal Bend. I said, I agree with you. I agree with him. I agreed with him on that if he's talking about the 90s, but it's just not really like that anymore. And even it's hard to gauge, man, with the Valley if you're just going to go by wins and losses, head-to-head wins and losses, because their best teams are 6A, and we don't have 6A programs, man. But I get what he's talking about. Boys got to see up from Calhoun. Yeah. Boys got to see us as Ed Couch had a great progress until it fell apart. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about that earlier, man. I don't know what happened to Ed Couch, man, but things had fallen apart there for a few years. Maybe they'll get back on track, man. That Makidamani, this is a nice thing, man. Ed Couch had some really good programs, man. That would beat some of our best in Alice and Calallen around here. Ruben Bettis says the RGB schools have done well in 6A regionally, but 5A and below, the Coastal Bend has been dominant for years and years. Heck, 5A knocked off 2 big-time 6A powers that dropped down their first year in 5A last season. Well, he's trying to talk about CC Vets beating Villa and North. Okay, but they're not 6A anymore. They're 5A now for a reason, man. You can't just name drop 6A because last year or the year before they were 6A. They're 5A now for a reason. They're 5A because that's where their enrollment falls. And you got to be realistic with it, man. You barely beat both teams. A win is a win. That's not my point. My point is, though, we're not like this some way above the Valley's level like people like you like to think, man. Or you would have dominated them and beat them 40-0, but you didn't. You beat them both, I think, by a touchdown, both of them, man. You got trouble with both of them. You got to be realistic, man. TC Vets didn't dominate the Valley programs they played in North and Villa. It didn't happen, man. So yeah, you can't. I get it. He's a Vets fan. I think his son played for Vets. It doesn't work that way though. And then he said, "You're wrong. Lots of CC teams have great records against RGV teams. If I had to guess, there are 7+ CC area teams with 70% or better records against RGV teams over the past 10 years. 30% is not on the same level. Sorry, try again." So my comment to him was, you should have stopped it. If I had to guess, exactly, you're guessing. You don't know. You haven't looked into anything. You don't know who the head-to-heads are. All you know is you're a CC Vets fan and now a CC Carroll fan. So you're gonna build it up. I get it, man. I used to do the same thing with Alice. He says, "I can look it up when I have time if you want me to. Just be prepared to be proven 100% wrong." I'm not going to be proven wrong, dude. I already told you, because you can't. It's just not that simple. It's not as simple with the head-to-heads. The Valley's best teams were 6A for all these decades. Now 3 of the good ones dropped to 5A this year, but it's just 1 year. You can't cherry pick 1 year. And your program, even like I said, man, the example you're trying to use doesn't prove me wrong. It proves your own point wrong, man. And your Vets team had trouble with Velan North. It's just facts. So what do you think their better programs like Harlingen would have done to you? It's just we're not at another level like you want to say they are, man. George D says RGB sports have gotten better over the past decade. They're going deeper into the playoffs annually. They're not quite at the same level as big city programs, but they're holding their own on more than one occasion. Coastal Bend has always been competitive. Yeah, that's what makes it hard, man. Like I said, the Valley's best teams are 6A, and so you're talking about a road in the playoffs where right away in round 3 you're playing you're facing the 3rd round best team in San Antonio or the Austin area. That's why it's not as simple as saying, well, the Valley's best teams are getting to round 5 and we are. It's not that simple, man. Give Harlingen that 5A D1 road to round 5 and they'd be tearing it up also. It just doesn't work that way, man. Coach Perry from Robstown says, I think he's talking about the Valley. He says, I think that they are trending in the right direction, and the Valley Week that people like to say to make fun of the Valley term can be done away with for sure, man. There's just, at least with us, there's no more of that Valley Week crap where you make fun of the Valley and you say it'd be an easy game because it's Valley Week. Don't work that way, man. CC Vets can tell you that. Miller can tell you that. Alice and Calallen have lost Valley teams in the playoffs. It's just. He says FB and GP opted to play in their correct classification for the first time in a long time and dominated. Yeah, they did, but that's 2 of our best teams in Flower Bluff and Gregory Portland playing with some of the Valley's weaker teams. On his defense, though, he said, well, yeah, but those are some of their best 5AD2 teams. And so I like explained myself. I said, I should have been more clear in my original statement on this post. We're going to go classification by classification. Yeah, we do have an advantage over the Valley. But if you get our 10 best, Valley's 10 best, there's really no difference talent-wise, man. Classification by classification, sure, we're going to win, man, because like I said, I've said 100 times already in this episode, the Valley's best teams are 6A, and we don't have any 6A teams here. It's just watch out for PSJ and Northern Villa this year, man. They were underclassmen heavy, and they barely lost Vets. Vets ain't going to have that advantage anymore of the open enrollment. I think that stopped about 3 or 4 years ago at Vets. So, I mean, this class that's leaving right now is the last class you got to take advantage of with that open enrollment you used to have. And then with the Carroll's new school opening up, I'm sure they took some kids back away. I think Ruben Perez is a big-time Vets fan, and I think he's about to find out this season that nothing to take away from Vets, man, but you are who you were because you were a new school that have open enrollment and everybody wants to go there. That's not gonna last. It's not lasting. You're gonna find out this season, man. It's just reality check this season, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, man. Keaton Castilleja says you replied to Henry Badaramas. I'm sorry, man. In the couple of years leading up to the COVID season, San Benito scrimmaged CC Vets and dominated. I know it's only a scrimmage and doesn't necessarily count. Then went on to play Victoria West and beat them in back-to-back years. They also played Calallen in back-to-back years and lost by a TD both years. Exactly, man. You get teams like San Benito barely losing to Calallen, man. I'm not even getting to Adrian South's comments, man. This is you bring nothing to the table. Did you bring nothing to the table, Adrian? Jesus, man. I hope you don't have kids playing for Beeville, man. Cody Brooks says the real concern is how the South Texas and border teams close the gap with Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston have created. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Why did we used to compete with them in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and yada yada, and it stopped, man. They kept growing, and we did. I don't know, man, but I refuse to believe that's never going to happen, man. I was just people around here, and we're going to get back into the whole demographics argument. I'll just always point to Cal Allen. How does Cal Allen do it? You know, you can't use the demographics of Houston area and Dallas area. And Cal Allen finds a way. If they can find a way, anyone can find a way, man. Vets, even this year, Vets didn't lose to College Station as badly as I thought it was going to be. You know, they held their own for the first half, and then College Station and their depth pulled away the second half. But in Vets' defense, man, they looked all right the first half, man. I don't think it was a one-score game or before that pick six was thrown or something. But it wasn't looking as bad as I thought it was going to be. But the depth factor and the talent factor that College Station pulled away in that second half. But Rue Flo says the Valley is going to pass up Corpus Christi soon, especially with UTRGV becoming D1. That's look, he might not be wrong, man. Because I've said in other episodes, I think that's a big reason why we don't compete with the rest of the state. Also, not having D1 local D1 football programs. I think it hurts us, man. I think it. Look, you got to look at the mindset of a young person, man. They see local D1 programs with local kids, local players, random local players playing for those programs. It puts you in a mindset we've got a chance, and maybe you work harder. I don't know. It's the mental thing to me. You got a local D1 program in the Rio Grande Valley now. That's going to help their kids a lot, man. Give their kids something to shoot for. Look, we got a D1 program locally. You get to go to the games, you get to experience it firsthand, see what could be with you if you put in the work. I mean, that's what Corpus Christi, Texas A&M Corpus Christi needs now, man. You got a D1 basketball team. Get you a D1 football program, man. It's the Las fans we have around here, dude. I cannot even imagine how crazy they would go at the games if Texas A&M Corpus Christi had a football team, man. And if it was one of those college programs where you sold beer at the stadium, forget it, dude. Like, the fans around here would go crazy for a D1 football program. We don't have it, man. And so it's just, I'm sure the Valley's go crazy for it too when they get that. I wonder where they're going to play. I haven't even looked into all that. Their new D1 football program they're going to have with Coach Bush. But the fans are going to go crazy for that, man. We just don't have anything like that down here. We got the Javelinas, but they just have not been the same for like 15, 20 years. They got better this year, so maybe that new coach doesn't make changes for the positive side. But it's just, I'm not going to get into too much more. Like I said, I need to get the hell out of here and go watch to Little Woodrow's to watch the Longhorns. But I wanted to try out this new format I'm going to do for the new videos and try the green screen again, see if it works. See if I can get it working. But I just, look, man, I don't know what to say. I'm not going to say I won the argument. I mean, only 25% agreed with me and 75% disagreed with me. So it's either I lost or 75% of you are wrong. 75% of you are probably wrong. But it is what it is. But yeah, man, thank you guys. Oh, we hit the 10,000 mark. Thank you guys. Show support, man. I mean, go hit that subscribe button. It's only $4.99 a month. It's not a big deal for you. For someone like me, it would be a big deal. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of my own money over the last 6 years paying for all these cameras I'm talking to, wear and tear in my vehicles, just everything that I pay for. Start supporting local, man. I mean, not just me. South Texas Football Unlimited. Go support them. AC Williams with his when he posts all these badass photos that he makes, man. Go shoot him some Cash App money. Support local, man. You gotta get out of that fucking mindset that I don't know what to say anymore, man. I wish you guys would hit that subscribe button. $4.99 a month's not a big deal for you. It's a big deal for me. If I were to ever get to the point where it's enough money, I would start giving back too, man. It's not all about me or just covering my costs. I want to be able to do stuff back to get you guys involved with the page more, like give out gift cards, give out items. Every week, every month, however it would work. But if you guys aren't helping, if you're not subscribing, you know, I can't. I'm not going to go and buy items on my own and just, you know, you invest $4.99 a month and you might win a $50 gift card out of it. Who knows? Something more expensive than that, $100 gift card. Not a big deal. It's worth the investment, man. $4.99 a month. But so I hope you guys hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for following the page.